My wife cheated on me with her boss, then convinced me to sign over our $250, $0 house and a $100, $0 inheritance, only for me to find out she gambled everything away and might be planning to sue me for half. Help, I feel betrayed beyond words. I never thought I'd end up in a situation like this, but here I am, trying to piece together the mess my life has become. It all started with what I thought was a happy marriage, 2 kids, a nice house, and a future I was proud of. My wife Emily seemed perfect on the surface, beautiful, sharp-tongued, always dressed to impress, and she loved to remind me how lucky I was to have her. But beneath that polished exterior, I started noticing little things that didn't add up: late nights, secretive phone calls, unexplained absences. I brushed it off at first, telling myself I was just paranoid or maybe overthinking. After all, she was busy with her job, a high-powered executive position at a marketing firm. She always claimed her boss, James, was just a colleague, a friend, nothing more. Looking back, I can see the signs now that I was blind to then. Emily's attitude shifted gradually. She became more bitchy, snapping at me over small things, refusing to share her phone or her plans. She started dressing differently, more provocative, more seductive, especially when she went out to meet clients or network. She'd wear these tight dresses and high heels, and I'd catch her texting late at night more often, but I didn't want to believe she'd cheat on me. I loved her. I still do, even now, even after everything. It was about 2 months ago when I first found out something was really wrong. I noticed her phone buzzing constantly, and she'd hide it when I came near. One night, I saw her slip her phone into her purse faster than usual. Something made me want to check her messages. I didn't want to invade her privacy, but I felt a gnawing suspicion that I couldn't ignore anymore. So I waited until she was asleep, grabbed her phone, and scrolled through her texts. What I saw knocked the wind out of me. There were messages from James, suggestive, flirtatious, even explicit, talking about meeting up, planning secret dinners, and even discussing what they did during business trips. I couldn't believe my eyes. My wife, my Emily, was cheating on me with her boss. That discovery was a punch to the gut. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak swirling inside me. I wanted to confront her right then, but I knew I needed to gather more evidence. So I kept digging, checking her emails, her social media. She was meticulous, deleting messages, but I found enough to confirm what I feared. They'd been seeing each other for months, probably longer. Emily had lied to me about everything. She insisted she was just working late, that she never cheated, that James was just a friend who helped her with her career. But I knew better. I saw her in the act, and I saw the lies she was spinning. When I finally sat her down to ask about it, her reaction was typical. She looked me dead in the eyes, smiled that fake, bitchy smile, and said, "You're overreacting. You're paranoid. I don't know what you're talking about." She tried to deny everything, even accused me of spying on her, which I guess was her way of gaslighting me. She said I was insecure, jealous, that I was imagining things because I didn't want to face the truth. But I had the messages, the photos, the evidence. There was no denying it. She betrayed me in a way I never thought possible. The emotional impact hit me hard. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I was furious, then broken, then numb. How could she do this to us, to our family? All those promises, all the plans we made, gone. I kept asking myself how I missed the signs, how I was so blind to what was happening right under my nose. The worst part was the betrayal of trust. I had given her everything, my love, my support, my future, and she used it to feed her own selfishness. The anger boiled over at times, but mostly I just felt lost, betrayed beyond words. I questioned everything about myself, about her, about us. I spent nights staring at the ceiling, trying to understand how I'd gotten here. I thought about the house, our house, worth $250,000, and how she convinced me to sign it over to her. I remember her crying, saying she needed it for her career, that we'd be better off. I was naive enough to believe her. Turns out she'd gambled away a good chunk of that money, about $150, $0 of it, on online poker and slot machines. She lied about that too, said she was just trying to make some extra cash. I found receipts, bank statements, and I realized she'd been doing this behind my back for months. That money was gone just like that. And she had the nerve to look me in the eyes and tell me everything was fine, that she was just stressed. What's worse is that I later found out she's planning to sue me for half the house, claiming I pressured her into signing it over and that she's entitled to her share. She's spinning this tale, making herself the victim. Meanwhile, she's out there, probably planning her next move, maybe even trying to set herself up with someone new. I don't know what her endgame is, but I do know I can't trust her anymore. This betrayal has shattered everything I believed in. I feel like I've been played, used, and now I'm just trying to keep my head above water. After I uncovered everything, I felt like I was walking around in a fog. The house that once felt like our sanctuary now just seemed like a trap. Every corner reminded me of her lies, her betrayal. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and honestly, I started questioning whether I even knew who she was anymore. Emily kept up her act, acting like the innocent victim, crying, pleading, claiming she was sorry, but I saw right through her. She'd spin stories about how the affair was just a mistake, a one-time thing, and how she never wanted to hurt me. Yeah, right. I remember the moment I confronted her again, this time with more evidence laid out on the table. I had her phone, her emails, her bank statements, everything that proved she'd been cheating on me with James and gambling away our money. She looked at me with that bitchy smirk, trying to act like she was the victim. She started lying, saying she was only talking to James about her career, that they never crossed any lines. She even had the nerve to say I was paranoid and jealous. That made my blood boil. I told her I knew about the affair, about the money she'd lost, and that I wasn't going to stand for her bullshit anymore. Her reaction: she got defensive, accused me of invading her privacy, and then threw out some classic gaslighting. She said I was overreacting, that I was just insecure and jealous because she's so successful and beautiful. She dismissed all the evidence she couldn't deny, insisting she loved me, that she'd never cheat or gamble again. But I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. I saw her for what she was, a manipulative, selfish woman who was only out for herself. I told her I wanted a divorce, that I was done with her lies, done with her games. The emotional roller coaster that followed was brutal. I went from shock to rage, then deep sadness. I kept questioning how I'd let this happen, how I'd been so blind. I'd always been the one working hard, providing for her and the kids, and she'd been out there screwing her boss and blowing our savings. It felt like my entire world was crashing down around me. I'd trusted her, believed in us, and now I was left with nothing but a pile of betrayal and a house that I no longer felt attached to. In the days that followed, I tried to gather my thoughts. I knew I had to protect myself legally, especially with her talking about suing me for half the house, despite her own reckless behavior. I hired a lawyer, and we started to look into what my rights were. I also found out she'd been hiding debts from her gambling, piling up more than she ever admitted. It was like peeling back layers of a rotten onion. Each discovery made me angrier, more determined to fight back. Meanwhile, Emily started acting even more bitchy, throwing tantrums, trying to guilt-trip me into staying, claiming she was the victim here. She'd cry about how hard she's had it, how she's sacrificed everything, even though I knew the truth now. I saw her for what she was: selfish, manipulative, a liar. I couldn't believe I'd been married to someone like her all these years. I felt betrayed beyond words, like I'd been played for a fool. The worst part: knowing she might try to turn the kids against me, making me the villain in her twisted story. I also started to realize how deep her deception went. She convinced me to sign over the house, promising it was for our future, for stability, and I did it because I believed her. Now I find out she's gambled away most of that money. The inheritance she convinced me to sign over, her argument was that it was for the family. She spent it on casino trips, online poker, and who knows what else. I found receipts for thousands of dollars in online gambling sites. I felt sick. All that money gone just like that, and she's out there acting like she's the victim. The betrayal hit me so hard I started questioning everything. Our life, my judgment, her love. I kept replaying the moments when she lied to my face, when she told me everything was fine. I was so blinded by love and trust that I missed all the warning signs. I realize now how naive I was. I thought I knew her, thought we had something real. Turns out I was just a convenient cash cow, a partner to keep her comfortable while she played her games. I'm still trying to figure out what to do next. I don't want her to get away with this, not without consequences. I've started to gather more evidence, talking to a lawyer and thinking about how to protect what's left of my sanity and my finances. Honestly, I'm furious. Furious at her, furious at myself for not seeing the signs earlier. But I also feel a strange sense of clarity. This is a wake-up call. I need to get out of this toxic situation, rebuild my life from scratch, and make sure she doesn't walk all over me again. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I'm done trusting her blindly. She's proven she's capable of lying, cheating, gambling, and manipulating her way through everything. The betrayal runs deep, and I'm left to pick up the pieces. If anyone's been through something similar, I'd appreciate some advice or just knowing I'm not alone in feeling like this. After I started seriously digging into her financial mess and her lies, everything got even messier. Emily's behavior became more erratic, more aggressive. She'd throw tantrums when I brought up the bank statements or the gambling receipts. She accused me of trying to control her, of spying on her, and then cry about how I was ruining her life. Honestly, it was exhausting. I felt like I was fighting a battle on every front: her lies, her manipulations, the mounting financial chaos. But what pushed me over the edge was when I discovered she'd been secretly planning to sue me for half the house, claiming I forced her into signing it over. That's when I realized I had to act fast. I hired a lawyer, a sharp guy named Mike who specializes in divorce and property disputes. We started pulling together all the evidence: texts, emails, bank statements, even her gambling receipts. I wanted to be prepared for whatever she threw at me. I also had to start protecting myself legally, especially since she was already talking about taking me to court. I knew she'd try to spin it that I was some kind of controlling husband, that I'd manipulated her into giving up the house and her inheritance. But I had the receipts, I had the proof. I wasn't going down without a fight. Meanwhile, Emily kept up her act, acting innocent one minute, then bitchy and defensive the next. She'd call me names, accuse me of being paranoid, and then cry crocodile tears about how she's the real victim here. I couldn't believe how skilled she was at gaslighting. She'd say she's sorry, then turn around and accuse me of ruining her life, of trying to take everything she's worked for. It was like dealing with a tornado. Nothing was predictable and everything was chaos. The more I tried to stand my ground, the more she pushed back, trying to make me feel guilty or crazy. One day, she even accused me of cheating on her. Can you believe that? After all her lies, she's out there throwing accusations at me. She said I was probably cheating because I was so suspicious lately, which was a flat-out lie. I've never cheated, never even thought about it. But her words hit me hard like a slap across the face. The betrayal runs so deep, I don't even recognize the woman I married anymore. I started to realize she's not just a cheater, she's a master manipulator, someone who will do anything to keep her grip on the money and the house. The emotional toll is brutal. I go from feeling angry to feeling numb, then back to furious again. I keep asking myself how I let it get this far. How did I not see the signs? How did I trust her so blindly, every time? I think I've got her figured out. She surprises me with a new lie or a new scheme. I find myself wondering if I ever knew her at all. This isn't just about money or infidelity anymore. It's about a fundamental betrayal of trust, of everything we built together. And all the while, she's spinning her web, trying to turn the situation around. She's been telling friends and family that I'm the one who's abusive, controlling, and unfair. She claims I'm trying to take everything from her: her job, her reputation, the house. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I've seen her manipulate people before. She's good at twisting things to her advantage. I know I need to stay focused, stay calm, and let my lawyer handle the legal side. But inside, I'm boiling. I want to call her out, tell her exactly what I think of her lies and manipulations. But I know that's not smart right now. I have to keep my head clear and stick to the facts. What's crazy is how much she's played the victim card. She's crying, screaming, acting like she's the one suffering. Meanwhile, she's out there gambling away our savings, cheating on me and planning to sue me for half the house I worked so hard to pay for. It's surreal. I keep thinking about the house, our inheritance, all the promise of a future I thought we had. She convinced me to sign over the house because she said it was for our stability, and now I find out she's blown most of that money on online poker and slot machines. The betrayal doesn't just hurt, it infuriates me. I've also started to think about what's next. I can't stay in this toxic mess forever. I need to protect myself legally, get a fair settlement, and figure out how to rebuild my life. It's hard to imagine starting over after everything, but I know I can't stay in this situation. I've lost trust, respect, and a lot of my peace of mind. The hardest part is realizing I can't change her. She's made her choices, and now I have to deal with the consequences. But I'm determined to come out of this with my dignity intact and get the justice I deserve. Honestly, I don't know what she's planning next, but I do know I need to be prepared for anything. She's a master at manipulating and lying, and I can't let her walk all over me anymore. I've learned that trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to repair. But I also understand that I can't let her control my life. I have to stand tall, protect what's mine, and move forward. It's going to be a long road, but I refuse to let her win. I just hope I can keep my head, stay strong, and not let her drag me down further. At this point, I've realized that dealing with Emily is like trying to hold back a flood with a broom. Every day brings a new surprise, a new lie, or a new scheme. She's become so good at spinning her stories that sometimes I wonder if I'm the only one who sees through her act. But I've also learned to keep my guard up, to document everything, and to stay one step ahead. The legal process is moving slowly, but I've finally got a solid team behind me, lawyers, a financial advisor, and some close friends who have been supporting me through this chaos. One thing I've been doing is digging into her gambling habits more thoroughly. It turns out she's been hiding her losses for months. I found online gambling accounts she never told me about, accounts that have drained our savings, our inheritance, and even the equity I put into the house. I saw transactions for thousands of dollars lost in a single weekend. It's like watching money evaporate into thin air. I feel sick every time I think about how she convinced me to sign over the house, telling me it was for our future, all the while she was sinking us deeper into debt. And then there's her latest move. She's threatening to sue me for half the house. She claims I manipulated her into signing it over, that I forced her into it. I have the signed paperwork, the legal documents, and the witness statements from our lawyer to prove otherwise. But she's already spreading her version of the story to friends and family, painting herself as the victim and me as the villain. It's infuriating. I know she's trying to turn everyone against me to make herself look innocent, but I refuse to buy into her game. Her bitchy attitude has only worsened. She's sullen, confrontational, and often outright hostile. Every conversation turns into an argument. She calls me controlling, jealous, and paranoid, classic gaslighting tactics. She's trying to make me doubt my own perceptions, but I've seen too much to fall for her lies anymore. I catch her in little inconsistencies and I call her out on them. I've learned to stay calm, to not let her get under my skin, even when she's yelling or crying. The thing that's really eating me up is the emotional toll. I've gone from feeling angry to feeling numb, and now I'm just exhausted. I keep asking myself how I let this happen, how I trusted her for so long. I keep replaying every moment, every sign I missed, every little lie she told. It's like I was blind and now I see her for who she really is, a manipulative, selfish woman who's been using me for years. I can't believe I was so naive. But what's even more frustrating is that she's still acting like she's innocent. She's trying to guilt-trip me, saying I've ruined her life, that she's the real victim. She's crying, begging, pleading, trying to make me feel guilty for wanting a divorce or for wanting to protect myself. I can't let her manipulate me anymore. I've learned that her tears are just another tool in her arsenal, another way to make me doubt myself. I know now that I have to stand firm, no matter how much she tries to break me down. The worst part is how much she's lied about her intentions. She claims she's sorry, that she regrets everything, that she just wants to fix things. But I see right through her. She's been planning her next move, probably trying to hide more debts, or maybe even trying to set herself up with someone new. I wouldn't put it past her to try to run away, to disappear with whatever she can get. That's why I've been gathering even more evidence, just in case she tries to pull a fast one. I also started thinking about the kids. I don't want them to grow up thinking their mother was a liar and a cheat. I want to protect them from her influence, but I also know I have to be careful. I don't want to badmouth her in front of them, but I also can't pretend everything's fine. They deserve to know the truth in a way that's age-appropriate, and I need to make sure their stability isn't compromised by her manipulations. It's a balancing act, and honestly, I don't know if I'm doing it right. As for me, I'm trying to stay strong. I've started going to therapy, something I should have done earlier, and it's helping me process everything. I've also been working out more, trying to clear my head. I keep telling myself that I won't let her destroy me, that I can rebuild from this mess. I've learned that trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair, but I can still protect what's left of my dignity and my future. That's what keeps me going, knowing I have to fight for myself, for my kids, and for the chance to start over. The road ahead is uncertain, but I refuse to be her pawn anymore. I've been played, manipulated, and betrayed, but I'm not going to let her win by breaking me. I know I'll get through this, even if it's one difficult step at a time. I just hope I find a way to come out on the other side with my self-respect intact. That's what matters most now, standing tall, no matter how much she tries to knock me down. At this stage, I've come to realize that Emily's schemes are far from over. Every time I think I've got a handle on things, she throws a new curveball. She's still trying to spin her narrative, still trying to manipulate everyone around her. Her latest tactic is to act even more helpless, crying about how I'm trying to ruin her life, how I'm destroying her reputation. It's disgusting, really. I see through it now. I know her game. She's just trying to keep her grip on whatever she can still control. My lawyer, Mike, has been a godsend. We're working on the legal front, preparing for her to file that lawsuit for half the house. I have all the documentation I need, signed papers, bank statements, proof of her gambling losses, and I'm ready to fight her in court if it comes to that. The thing is, I'm also trying to protect my own interests. I've started to gather evidence of her spending habits, her debts, and her lies to ensure I don't get blindsided. She's been sneaky, hiding things in her emails and secret accounts, but I've found a way to track everything. Meanwhile, Emily's behavior has only gotten more hostile. She's been throwing tantrums, yelling at me in front of the kids, and trying to guilt-trip me into backing down. She's crying about how she can't live without me, even though I know she's already moved on mentally. Just yesterday, she accused me of cheating, which is so laughable I almost wanted to laugh in her face. I've been faithful, honest, and straightforward, but she's desperate to deflect and blame me for everything: her cheating, her gambling, her lies. It's classic projection, and I see it for what it is. What truly infuriates me is her constant denial. She insists she's innocent, that she's the victim here, and that I'm the one trying to ruin her life. She's spinning a web of lies so thick that I sometimes wonder if she even believes her own bullshit. I've caught her in so many contradictions that it's almost funny, if it weren't so infuriating. She claims she's remorseful, but her actions tell a different story. She's still secretly meeting with her friends, still hiding money, and still playing her games. The house she convinced me to sign over, she's been using it as collateral for more online bets. I found out. It's like she's trying to burn everything down just to spite me. I've also been thinking about the kids a lot. I don't want them to grow up thinking their mother is a liar and a cheat, but I can't pretend everything's fine anymore. I've had some honest conversations with them, trying to explain that grown-up stuff is complicated and that sometimes people make bad choices. I want to shield them from the worst of her manipulations, but I also know I have to be truthful in a way that's appropriate. It's heartbreaking to see the confusion in their eyes when she's screaming or crying, trying to turn them against me. I've told them I love them and that I'm doing everything I can to keep us safe, but I worry about the long-term damage she's doing. The financial mess is just as bad as the emotional chaos. I've been working with my lawyer to freeze her accounts, to prevent her from liquidating more of our assets, or worse, hiding her debts. I've also contacted a financial advisor to help me sort out what's left and to plan my next steps. She spent thousands gambling, and I'm pretty sure she's planning to file for bankruptcy or some kind of victim claim to dodge her responsibilities. I won't let that happen. I'm determined to hold her accountable to make sure she can't just walk away from her debts and her lies. Honestly, I've never been more exhausted. This whole ordeal has drained me physically, emotionally, and financially. But I've also learned a lot about trust, about myself, and about what I won't tolerate anymore. I've realized that sometimes you have to fight for what's right, even if it means losing everything temporarily. I've started to rebuild my confidence, to remind myself that I deserve better than this chaos. I've also learned that no matter how manipulative someone is, their true colors eventually show. Emily's true self is a liar and a gambler, and I refuse to be part of her game anymore. Most importantly, I've accepted that I can't fix her. I can't change her. She's made her choices, and now I have to accept the consequences. I've started to focus on my own future, getting my finances in order, protecting my kids, and finding a way to move forward. It's not easy, and I still have moments where I feel like breaking down, but I know I have to be strong. For me, for my kids, and for the hope that someday this will all be behind me. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. And I know that if I stay vigilant and keep fighting, I'll come out stronger on the other side. Now, as I sit here reflecting on everything, I realize how much I've changed over these past few months. The betrayal was a blow that nearly knocked me out, but it also forced me to wake up and see what really matters. I've learned not to trust blindly, not to ignore the warning signs, and most importantly, not to let someone manipulate me into giving up my security and peace of mind. Emily's lies and schemes exposed her true nature, and I refuse to be a victim of her toxic game any longer. The legal battles are ongoing, but I've come to terms with the fact that I did everything I could to protect myself and my future. I've fought hard to keep what's mine, to hold her accountable, and to shield my kids from her chaos. It's been exhausting, but I've also gained strength I didn't know I had. Every day, I remind myself that I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect, things I was blinded to when I was with her. One of the most surprising lessons is how much I've grown emotionally. I used to be naive, trusting her blindly and believing in the fairy tale we built. Now, I see her for what she truly is, a manipulative, selfish woman who used her charm and lies to control everything around her. I've learned that sometimes the only way to survive betrayal is to cut ties completely and rebuild from the ground up. That's what I'm doing now. As I move forward, I focus on rebuilding my life, small steps but steady. I've reconnected with friends, started working on my career again, and even picked up some hobbies I'd neglected. The pain of betrayal still lingers, but I refuse to let it define me. I've come to accept that I can't change her. I can only control my own actions and reactions. My priority now is my well-being, my children's stability, and creating a future where I can trust again, but this time more cautiously. Looking back, I realize that this experience, while devastating, has taught me invaluable lessons about resilience and self-worth. If there's anything I want others to take away from my story, it's this: don't ignore the red flags. Trust your instincts, protect your assets, and never let someone manipulate you into giving up your power. Betrayal cuts deep, but it also opens the door to a new beginning. I've chosen to walk through that door, battered but stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Today, I feel a sense of closure. I've faced the worst and I've come out the other side. I know there will be more challenges ahead, but I also know I've built a resilience that will carry me through. The house, the inheritance, the trust, they're just things. What truly matters is my peace of mind, my integrity, and my ability to move on without the weight of betrayal dragging me down. I've learned that sometimes the greatest act of self-love is walking away from a toxic situation and choosing to rebuild myself, piece by piece. So to anyone out there dealing with betrayal, manipulation, or financial ruin, know that you're not alone. It's painful, it's unfair, and it's exhausting. but it's also an opportunity to rediscover your strength, to set boundaries, and to rebuild a better life. Trust yourself, protect what's yours, and never let anyone steal your peace. Because in the end, the only person who truly has your back is you. And if you stay vigilant and true to yourself, you can come out of this stronger than ever. I hope my story helps someone else see that even in the darkest moments, there's a way forward. It might be slow, it might be painful, but it's worth it. Trust me, I'm living proof that you can survive betrayal, pick up the pieces, and find happiness again. I'm still healing, still fighting, but I'm also finally free. And that's what matters most.